What's going on, Cougar fans? Peter Borkowski here with the Cougar Sports Net, coming at you with this edition of Coaches Weekly. I'm joined by the head coach of the CUC women's volleyball team, Troy Campbell. Coach, thanks for being here today. How you doing so far?
Good, doing great.
Great.
First week, we're getting things done, getting back in class. It feels good to be back.
Right. Well, like you said, it's the first week of classes, but your team's already been here a couple weeks here in the North Gym, getting to practice. So I guess let's start off there. What's kind of the general feel around the team right now as you guys get ready to kick off your season later this week?
Well, I think that, we've been officially like a week and a couple days, really. So it's been a lot of informational type stuff. You're always trying to include and incorporate some new players every single season, and the information around that takes a long time and to get them incorporated. And quite specifically, we have a couple kids that are new that are in the starting lineup now, and just getting them comfortable with what they're doing and get their first few matches out of the way, which we did on Saturday. And, it's been very, very interesting for us to have to kind of transition to a new fashion of playing for us. It's not going to be the old way of just getting the ball up and putting it away with absolutely fantastic outside hitter or middle attacker. It's really going to be a team game for us. It's going to be based on defense and passing and serving, and it's going to be a well-rounded offense, obviously led by Isabel. So, I think everything so far is going really well. But, we've got a lot and a long way to go before we hit our first conference match.
Well, before we keep talking about the future, let's wind the clock back a year. Last season, you guys went 12-16, 3-10 in conference. I know the record might not have been what you guys wanted, but there were still some positives to take away from that season, I feel. Do you mind speaking on what from last season you're kind of trying to build off of and use as a jumping off point for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think that, the overall sense of last year, of course, is that we didn't do as well as we wanted to be doing, but statistically, it was our best season that we've ever had here. So we had the most assists per set, the most digs per set, we had the best passing percentage and passing number that we've ever had. And as you look back at the CUC archives, it was top, arguably, number 7 season in the history of CUC volleyball. So we just had too many injuries that kept our top kids on the bench for too long. So we were struggling with that injury, the injury bug the entire season. But then we got healthy in the last couple of weeks and we beat a couple of really good teams. So
definitely.
That was kind of the disappointment of the way that it went, but that's what we're going to be building from this year is we didn't lose a lot of those ball control kids and those defensive kids that kept us on that statistical train. So I'm looking forward to taking them that next step as far as incorporating everybody into what we're doing.
Well, one highlight I definitely remember from last year was senior libero Julia Beers hitting the 1,000 career digs marks. Beers is back on the team this year now as a graduate student, new number, but the same player. I'm sure you're just as happy to have your defensive stalwart back on the court as we all are. You mind speaking a little bit about Beers' role on the team, not only as a great player, but as a good leader as well for the rest of the team?
Yeah, I think, we're so fortunate to have her back. She, about mid-season last year, made the decision to play another season. And she's been that leader. She's been a captain. She not only leads by example, but also through her, the way that she is off the court for us is incredible. And I appreciate, I'm not going to know the full scope of her impact here with our team until she's gone. Did what she be about, live on through other people and her leadership. But I'll tell you what, we're extremely lucky to have her back. Somebody who's solid in the back row, solid in what we're doing, and is all about the way we do things. And she's been a big part of it for the last 4 seasons.
Definitely.
So,
Well, let's look to the future now, which we actually got a preview of this past weekend. On Saturday, you guys welcomed Lake Forest and Rockford to Geisman Gymnasium for a couple of scrimmage games. Dropped the first match against Lake Forest, but picked up the win on the last match of the day against Rockford. As head coach, what were your main takeaways from those couple of scrimmage? What did you see that you really liked? What did you see that you might want to see improved on as the season goes on?
Well, I think we were a little Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
In the first match, we came out really skittish, and I think we played uncharacteristically in that match. I think Lake Forest did a good job, I think above average job for them, and we just didn't rise to that challenge. And we struggled in the areas in which we, quite frankly, are going to be the most successful, which is that passing and defensively and serving. But right after that, we come back, have a mental break.
Right.
Come back against Rockford, and first game's 25-5. And
right.
We played, and that's right after Rockford took Lake Forest to 5. So
right, definitely, exactly.
I think that we figured some things out. We got comfortable. And I think the mental game for us is going to be huge. And the way that they recovered and played that last match was fantastic. So hopefully we'll be able to do that this weekend as well.
Well, I was just going to mention that the real deal starts this Friday. You and your team will travel to Greencastle, Indiana to partake in the DePaul Invite. Friday, you'll face Carthage and Albion. On Saturday, you'll face the host DePaul and Kalamazoo. Other than just good competitive volleyball and hopefully a couple wins as well, what are you really hoping to see out of your team this weekend to kind of kick off the year on the right note?
Well, I think playing competition, and specifically this tournament where you're going to play at least two teams that are traditionally in the top 25 in the country, in DePaul and Carthage, I think you're looking to find the ways in which teams are going to attack you and the ways in which you're weak and need to improve.
Okay.
And I don't think that you can do that in practice.
Right.
So it's just super tough for us to play against each other all the time and have your top lineup know how to beat everybody else here. And I think all of those things are going to be exposed for us in this very first weekend. I think we're going to face a lot of different offensive schemes, a lot of different defensive schemes, a lot of fantastic servers, and quite frankly, teams that probably have a better on-court camaraderie than we do. And hopefully we're able to follow those examples, tighten up those areas in which they are going to expose those weaknesses, and hopefully by September 14th when we hit IIT, we can be ready, and these matches are going to be a big part of that.
And then I got to ask, you're starting your season off with a road trip. Greencastle isn't too far away, but it's not exactly a hop and a skip away from River Forest either. Is that something you like doing, starting your schedule off with an overnight trip like this? Is this just kind of how it shook out this year? What are maybe some of the advantages to starting your schedule off like this?
Yeah, I think that every year we've gone someplace. I think the first 3 weekends always of our seasons are travel weekends.
Okay, yeah.
You don't have to go outside the Midwest to find a great volleyball tournament and great volleyball. So, and it just depends. Last year we were at Illinois College for the first tournament, and this year we're going to DePaul. So it's just a sense of, and you get, I guess, a little bit of that camaraderie deal, right? That team bonding aspect of what we
together.
can do, and all of that. So, and I think the girls think it's fun. That's why you're here in college volleyball, to be able to travel and play some teams that you wouldn't regularly see in your schedule and have some fun. So hopefully we're able to do all those things this weekend and obviously have some good food because, Coach Campbell is always about
of course.
getting something good to eat. So, yeah.
All right, and then let's finish off here focusing on you for a couple minutes, Coach. One of the jobs of a head coach is to help build an identity around his or her team, kind of install a culture to your players. When people think of the 2022 CUC women's volleyball team, what do you want them to think of, whether it be on or off the court?
Well, that's a great question.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that's a different question. That's very, very different. I think that our team overall, over the past several seasons, 2017, 18, 19, I think we began to change our culture in those years. And, 2009, we've never lost the Team GPA award.
Right.
We won the team academic or the service award last year as well.
Right.
And we're looking to continue that off the court presence here on campus. I think that the girls do a phenomenal job of representing themselves and us as a group. And, on the court, I think that spills over to what we are about. I talk to every single recruit that comes here, and we talk about our culture in general as our staples are ACE.
Right.
Which is attitude, communication, and effort.
Okay.
And those are the only three things that we hold ourselves to a standard. And I think that when we bring those every day to either practice or anything we're involved with here on campus or out in the world, we do a fantastic job of representing all three of those things. And that's all I want my girls to hold themselves to. And I don't expect anything less than what we achieved last year. So, and everything was perfect. So I'm just really proud of who they are and our culture in general. And, they're going to keep it up. There's no worries. It's almost on autopilot, not that it's not, but they drive it.
Right.
We give them ownership over everything we do.
Right.
It's not just myself or Coach Ashland telling them what to do all the time and trying to force them to do whatever it is we got to do. Everything we do comes from them.
Okay.
And, it's worked really well for us.
Cool. And then finally, it's your 9th season at the helm here at CUC. You're one of the longest tenured coaches here. That's right. We get an achievement award, maybe.
You're right.
How has your time at Concordia changed maybe your perspective on the game, your coaching methodology? I mean, how has it changed you as a coach, a member of the volleyball community in general?
Wow.
I know it's a broad question, but...
Yeah, that's a complicated question, my friend, but another good one. So, I think that, I came from, in my former life of coaching club and high school in Indiana.
Okay, you're right.
I was uber successful all the time in ways that it were, quite frankly, as I look back, easy for me.
Okay.
Because I think other people that I coached against didn't have the experience that I had, and it wasn't about in recruiting, like I have to recruit a certain person here. And it's really tough at this level to inject time into the equation because there is no time.
Right.
And it was really easy at the club and high school level to just spend more time. Like I was 24/7 coaching all the time.
I got you.
And time was unlimited. Well, time is very, very limited here.
Right.
Where we coach for 10 weeks essentially, and we're doing all this other stuff. And then we have, 16 practices in the spring, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so it's become, my coaching philosophy has had to change a lot over that time about not only how we do things and what we're trying to accomplish, but how I define success. And I knew that the off the court stuff and what we do beyond the court, the classroom, all of the other stuff had to be a huge influence on what we do on the court. So we took care of that first, and now we're there, right? We're where we need to be. We've been there for a while now, and now we're starting to recruit a better class of athlete that wants to be involved with that. And that's the only way that you can be successful, I believe, at the collegiate level, at D3 level, is bring in a superior athlete and you're fine. You're the volleyball, everybody knows volleyball here. Every coach knows what they're doing. Right. You've got little intricacies about what you're doing that are different, or strategies that you might have, or experiences that you've had that help you. But yeah, it's changed quite a bit. But I've enjoyed the journey. CUC has been fantastic. I love working with the people here. Hopefully they like working with me too.
Let's hope so.
You never know. When the 6'7" guy shows up to your office or blah, 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 I think they think I'm mad or something, but no, I'm really not. I'm just a big bear, and, sometimes, but also a teddy bear. So I'm the guy who makes cookies around campus and does all that stuff.
Well, maybe we'll need to bring some for the next interview.
Right? Yeah, no problem.
Well, once again, CUC Women's Volleyball, they open up their season this Friday with games against Carthage College and Albion College. Those games are at 4 and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, respectively. Coverage for those two, as well as all things women's volleyball, can be found at cucougars.com. That'll do it for this edition of Coaches Weekly. One more thanks to Coach Campbell for taking some time to talk to us here. Good luck on the upcoming season. I look forward to talking to you a couple more times throughout the year. Until then, this is Peter Borkowski signing off of the Cougars Sports Net and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.